on, y'all? It's DG back with another video, and today going to be giving y'all finally my performance review on these right here, the Weight of Wade 11. This is one of the most frequently asked reviews over the past 2 weeks. Everyone in my comments have been asking me, so today we're finally going to review it. As a reminder, all of these reviews are from my personal experiences and opinions playing in this shoe. The traction on the Weight of Wade 11 is insane. It is very, very good, to the point where it reminds me of the Curry Flow line and Flow technology from Under Armour, where it has this instantaneous stop. But just imagine that instantaneous stop, but with squeak, because Flow has no squeak. These squeak and they grip to the floor amazingly well. If you go on a dusty court, I did take these to 2 different courts, one that's relatively clean, the other is a community center where it's actually nasty. The floor is actually nasty, and this traction held up on both floors. I would say that it does pick up some dust. I did clean these, but you know, if you do have to wipe, it's very, very minimal. So in synopsis, this traction is very good. You guys get these in hand. The material, the rubber on the outsole is very soft, but it's firm. It's kind of hard to describe the rubber compound that they're using, but they are saying it is anti-slip rubber and anti-slip technology. And honestly, I believe them, and it works, because this traction is crazy. Sometimes when I was playing, I was thinking to myself that this traction was too good, to the point where it just stuck everywhere. It was like glue. I even got called by one of my friends who I've been hooping with for years now. He was calling me squeaky shoes. I've never heard him call me that over the past few years that I've known him. Another one of my friends actually pointed out how squeaky this traction is, just out of nowhere, right? So that's kind of the response from people that I've been playing with. And it's actually crazy how good this traction is, in my opinion. Again, if you are on a dustier setting, I think you do have to wipe. I did find myself, wiping on that community center floor, but it was so minimal, I didn't really think about it. But if you are on any average gym floor, then you're going to be covered, in my personal opinion. So this does have a lot of storytelling in terms of the pattern, and I don't want to go over everything, but this traction is just good. The cushion of this shoe is based on something that they're calling a carbon core drive system. And what that means is that there's full length carbon fiber in this shoe, but it's sandwiched in between the full length boom cushion that we're all familiar with from Weight of Wade. This cushion setup is good, but in my opinion is pretty different from the Weight of Wade 10. The Weight of Wade 10 utilizes boom and the carbon fiber in a way that is very bouncy, and the heel to toe transition makes you feel like you're already jumping, kind of. So that's the Weight of Wade 10. For the Weight of Wade 11, the cushion setup is much, I would say, not as bouncy. It's more throughout the shoe, it's more smooth. I would say you really feel the boom, but it doesn't necessarily propel you forward as much as the WOW 10. That's a huge difference, in my opinion, from these, the 11s and the 10s, is the bounciness in this shoe. And it's something that I really caught on after playing in these multiple times, because I remember playing in the WOW 10. I played in so many colorways of the WOW 10, and that shoe has been bouncy throughout the lows and the highs. And I would say that it has very good balance of court feel and cushion and impact protection, because it is full length boom. Boom is a very good cushion setup, in my opinion. So my synopsis on this cushion setup for the WOW 11 is that it's not as bouncy as the WOW 10, but it still has some bounce to it, but it's more of a kind of smooth type of ride, where I feel like it is a little bit flatter, or more, just flatter kind of feeling throughout the shoe, if that makes sense. It's not, propelling you forward all the time like the WOW 10. At least that's what the WOW 10 felt for me. With that said, this cushion setup is still amazing, in my opinion. It's definitely one of the plus sides and positives about the WOW line and the WOW 11. It's very comfortable, and it does have very good impact protection, in my opinion. I never felt like my knees hurting in this shoe, and I felt pretty mobile in these with the cushion setup. I felt like it gave me a little bit of extra bounce, still kind of flatter, in my opinion, than the WOW 11, if that makes sense. where it's not necessarily, you know, making me bounce everywhere. I would say that this cushion setup accommodates all positions, but it's not the most court feel type of shoe. It's not going to give you the most, you know, court feel, in my opinion. I think court feel really comes from the forefoot, and there's a lot of cushion in the forefoot, in my opinion, which is great. But it has a good balance, you know, no matter your weight or play style. I think combined with the traction setup, you're going to really have a good time. And this shoe is very fun to play in because of the traction and cushion combination. So for the fit, I would say that the fit was the #1 problem for me. I got my true to size because I like testing initially in the true to size because that's what most people wear. And I feel like this shoe fixed the length in between, you know, the WOW 10 and WOW 11, because I feel like the WOW 10 felt just small and tight and short in length, like my toes fit right at the edge, even in half size up. But for the WOW 11, they definitely fixed the length, but the width is still very tight for me, to the point where, especially in my right foot, every time I played in these, my, you know, pinky toe and the toe next to it went numb. Like my foot on my right foot went numb. You know, if you are a wide footer, I would definitely recommend going a half size up. But again, you know, this is kind of where it gets tricky because I am a wide and flat footer. If you have a normal sized foot, I think you should go true to size, because despite how wide this shoe looks, there is still some narrowness in the forefoot for sure, because not a lot of shoes I get numb in, I guess. So I would say that if you are a wide footer, I would recommend going a half size up. If you're a normal or narrow footer, I would definitely just stay true to size, because I feel like the length, it was perfect for me. So what will end up happening in future colorways, because I do really like this shoe, is that I'll probably buy a half size up and then wear double socks to like fill that extra length a little bit and protect my foot just from the sides. So hopefully that works. And I think that this shoe's fit was improved, but I still feel like it's a little bit narrow, especially for us wide footers, because I don't know what to tell you. Every time I played in it, my right foot went numb to the point where I didn't want to tie the laces too tight, and I like tying the laces. So that's my synopsis on the fit. If you are a wide footer, go a half size up, in my personal opinion. If you are a normal or narrow footer, I would recommend staying true to size. Support is really good in this shoe. You know, what stands out to me is this very beefy heel counter and heel support. You guys see the Way of Wade logo. It's basically just like this big piece of plastic, and it's really cupping you in the heel, which allows you not to turn your ankle over, right? That's kind of, you know, the plus sides of having such a great heel counter. So I really feel like this shoe is great in support. It is very wide as well, okay? I think for me, when I'm talking about the fit, I mean, there's some narrowness in the forefoot, but the shoe itself, right? The traction, the outrigger, the overall base of the shoe is very wide. And with the great traction, you're going to be stopping on a dime. So like, in my opinion, the support is great. Leather also keeps you locked in. The lockdown in relation to the support is also very good. You feel locked in as well. So the support, I had no issues. In terms of materials, I would say that they're solid. And in terms of the weight, I feel like this is a lightweight shoe despite how it looks. It definitely feels very comparable to the WOW 11. I do not, you know, weigh my shoes. I don't have a scale for that, but I do feel like this shoe is actually pretty light. It really is, despite how it looks, because it does look a little bit bulky, you know. It does feel and look a little bit more substantial than the WOW 10, but I promise you, it is not a heavy shoe, guys. When I was playing in these, I didn't even notice the weight. I didn't even think about the weight. One thing to call out is that the upper of the collar right here is comprised of this knit material, but it is a little bit stiff on the interior. It's not the most stiffest thing where like it digs into your foot, but if you manage to like step back or, you know, put your foot in a direction where it's going backwards of the shoe, you may feel this collar a little bit digging, but it's nothing too crazy for sure. Like, it's not going to make you bleed or anything. I'm just calling that out there because I know a lot of people may be sensitive to that for their ankles, or anything of that nature. So that's something to call out. That's something that I did notice, something that I wanted to say in this review, but it's nothing hindering to the performance of the shoe at all. It's nothing hindering to the comfortability or the playing, at least for me. But for some people who have sensitive just legs or ankles, I did want to call that out. One thing that actually really helped this shoe, for me at least, was putting a Move insole in these. My favorite one is the Game Day because it's more accommodating for all foot shapes. And I feel like putting these in the WOW 11 really did help it because these are not as bouncy, but these have a little bit of an extra plate to it. It does have a more cushioned insole as well. So I do like putting the Game Day insoles in the WOW 11. This is what I use for every basketball shoe as well. And I like to interchange the insoles unless it's a drop-in midsole shoe, like the Kobe 8 Pro, for example. But I do like using these, and I really do feel like for the WOW 11, it does help a lot because these are not as bouncy for sure. That's one of the main things I want to relay to you guys in this video. It's not as bouncy because I feel like a lot of people are just like, oh, the WOW 10 is the best shoe of all time. Like, I feel like I can dunk in those, and I feel like I can jump out the gym in those, and myself included. Like, it really is super bouncy. So I feel like these make it a little bit more bouncy. So I love to put the Move insoles in here, and I basically molded my foot to it already. So I like using these. In terms of ventilation of this shoe, I would say it's not the most ventilated. It does get a little bit hot in here, but it does have very pronounced holes in the tongue right here. So it does help. But if you're looking for the coolest shoe in the world, then obviously this is not it. But we're all playing basketball at the end of the day, so our feet are gonna sweat. But looks-wise, I think these look way better than the WOW 10 in my personal opinion. This shoe looks amazing. It is very reminiscent of the Adidas line, specifically the Hardens and the Anthony Edwards, where it basically has like a two-tone sleeve type of upper. But I was thinking about it, and a lot of shoes implement that kind of color blocking and play style. It does remind me of the Hardens a little bit, but also, you know, standing alone by itself, this incorporation of the WOW logo is crazy nice, especially in person. These look really cool, guys. So I really like the design of these, and aesthetically, I think they look way better than the WOW 10. I love the WOW 10 performance-wise and everything like that, and I do own the special colorways like the Zoo one and the Ice and Fire Dragon that have a different upper, but these in general just look so much, they just look cool, you know? Like, these are different. I just love the back. I just love this logo design that they did, and they actually made it optimized for performance because it's basically like this one big heel counter. So absolutely love the looks of this shoe aesthetically. One, the traction is amazing. I really like the traction in these guys. I really do. And it was to the point where, you know, my friends at the gym were saying I have squeaky shoes, and I've never, you know, after many years of playing with them, like, I've never heard someone tell me that. And it was really cool just to hear that, and it really did validate how not only squeaky this is, but also how great of a traction this is. And I absolutely love the traction. You do have to wipe on like dusty courts, but it's very, very minimal in my personal opinion, or at least in my experience. The second thing that I wanted to call out was the fit. The fit is very tricky because I do have, you know, specific foot shapes, right? Everyone has different foot shapes, but I do have a wide and flat foot. I did get these in my true to size for this performance review, just to be very clear on what works for me. And in my opinion, I think if you are a wide footer, I would go a half size up. If you are a narrow footer or a normal footer, I would stay true to size. Because the third thing that I did want to mention as well is that I don't think this shoe is as bouncy as the WOW 11, but you 100% feel the cushion in the shoe. It's very fun to play in. Supposed to release on July 29th, I believe. For all of the details, I would highly recommend going to wayofwade.com. So definitely go to wayofwade.com to enter the raffle for these. So do I recommend the WOW 11 to you? I 100% do. This is such a fun shoe to play in. I will definitely go a half size up, and I feel like that will solve a lot of the fit issues. But overall, love the design, love the upcoming colorways that are coming as well. And this shoe's traction and cushion is just very good. Again, I don't feel like it's as bouncy as the WOW 10, but also like this cushion is crazy because you really feel the boom And I really do like that, especially as someone, you know, who likes cushion in the heel, likes cushion in the forefoot, likes full-length cushion. That concludes my performance review and overall thoughts on the Weight of Wade 11. I just can't get over how nice this shoe looks, especially this logo. I think it just looks so cool. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys think of the Weight of Wade 11 aesthetically, performance-wise, based on other reviews you've seen. Leave a comment down below and let me know. Follow me on all socials at DG Hoops, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.